A Wednesday showdown brought to you by La Lechonera. No, we're not playing there. We're playing at Wrigley Field. I like the shot, though. Isn't that great? On the lakefront, Soldier Field. All right, let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. Tom Kohler back on the mound for the Marlins today. He has pitched really well as of late, but in his last start against the Phillies, he did have to leave that game a little bit early due to some soreness in his pectoral muscle. I had a chance to catch up with TK to ask him how he's feeling heading in today and what he feels like he's done well during this stretch.
I'm good to go. It was something that we did for precautionary reasons, and with the trade, those guys were slotted to pitch those days too, so we figured it'd be a good time to give me a little blow since I hadn't really had one with the All-Star break either. I threw on normal rest, so good to go. Excited to get back out there.
Your last two starts have been really good. You've done a lot of things well, limited the walks, established success with your breaking ball. What do you feel like has made the difference for you in your last two starts?
I think you really just said it. It's about getting ahead early and establishing the breaking ball, as soon as you can, make them think about it. But, trying to force early contact, and I've had a better fastball command. Not that I wasn't throwing it for strikes, but I've thrown it for more quality strikes. So, sometimes the changes you have to make are simple ones that just go with executing a little bit better.
After that start in Philly, you felt like you were making progress, but not quite out of the woods yet as far as getting back on track. You feel like you've come a little bit further since then?
Yeah, but I think we're still searching, and every time out there, there's no such thing as perfection in this game. So I got to keep progressing, moving forward, and I got to take what I did in my last two starts and put it to work into this next one. Otherwise, what happened those last two don't matter.
And really good numbers for Kohler in his last three starts in particular. He has a record of 2-1, an ERA of 2.50. He also has 14 strikeouts. And another thing that he's done well, he's cut down on the walks. We know that command was an issue for Kohler earlier in this season, but he has cleaned things up as of late. And like you mentioned, Rich, he pitches well at Wrigley. Had a really nice start here last season.
All right, so do the Cubs, man. Their rotation's been really good this year and in this series. So it's Tom Kohler against John Lackey. It's Miami against Chicago. Day baseball from the friendly confines as the Fish and the Cubs finish off a three-gamer in Chicago. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you today by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. Heck, if you're going places, this is a great place to go to, Chicago. And on the north side at Wrigley Field, the Cubs are just taking the fields. Tom Kohler in deep thought, ready for his start as the Fish and the Cubs get ready to tangle. Miami's lineup does not include Ichiro. The Marlins have dropped 2. Outfielders are swinging it well, and so they're all in there. And it's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
D. Gordon is back in the leadoff spot. Martin Prado is batting second. Christian Yelich is in the 3-hole. Giancarlo Stanton is batting fourth. Marcell Ozuna fifth. Derek Dietrich gets a start at first. Batting sixth, Jeff Mathis is behind the dish today, and he's catching. Batting seventh, Odaini Echeverria is eighth. Tom Kohler is in that 9th slot. Rich?
It's John Lackey, the 37-year-old out of Abilene, Texas. Longtime big leaguer. Not much rattles this guy. You see his numbers: a 3.69 ERA, 8-7. His last start out, he was very good. He beat the Crosstown White Sox. Gave up just a run in a 3-1 win. Did not have the best of Julys. His ERA was over 5. That his worst month of 2016. Of course, 2015, he was pitching with the rival Cardinals and signed a 2-year deal through 2017 with the Cubs. Let's scout John Lackey, shall we? Auto Nation rolls out the scouting report.
Well, he throws mostly 4-seamers. He's a big fastball guy. He's a big fastball location guy. 91 to 95 miles per hour. Deciding factor, he won Game 7 for the Los Angeles Angels in 2002. And motivational revenge. On June 25th, he lost to Miami 9-6, only going 4 1/3, giving up 7 hits and 7 earned runs.
And of course, Lackey, a world champion as well in 2013 with the Boston Red Sox. 8 years with the Angels, 4 with the Red Sox, 2 with the Cardinals. And here he is with the Cubs. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, Christian Yelich on a bright sunny afternoon at Wrigley. And there's strike 1 from Lackey. Gordon in the series 1 for 4. Did not start last night. Did come in as a pinch runner in a key spot. Miami down a run late and was picked off first base.
Leadoff hitters have different mentalities against a guy like Lackey.
Gordon puts it in play. Deep in the hole, it's short, and D's going to beat it out. And that's vintage D. Gordon. Once Bryant couldn't get it, you had a sense that Gordon was aboard.
Well, and I say that because sometimes as a leadoff guy, if you have that guy who throws a lot of breaking balls for strikes, you might swing at that first heater. But with Lackey, he throws so many fastballs, you feel comfortable taking that first pitch because you know you're still going to get a good diet of heaters after that. And right here, this is just D. Gordon speed on display. Sometimes he runs, it doesn't even look like his feet touch the ground.
Gordon was also caught stealing in his start in this series. And here is Martin Prado. Prado, a couple of hits, a single in each game, and that's an issue for the Marlins in this 2-game set. Lots of singles, not a lot of extra base hits. Gordon's running on the first pitch. Pitch is a strike. Montero's throw is wide of the bag, and D swipes his 8th bag of the season. No waiting. Lackey, a guy that you can run off of. Base runners now 10 of 13 against him.
Well, I was a base stealer, and I'll tell you, I understand he got picked off last night, but it's tough getting that edge of being a base stealer. Some people want to say, well, you know, he went the first couple pitches, he didn't go, this, that, and the other. It is such an edge to be able to come back after 80 games sitting out. Who knows how many real opportunities he had in a money bag situation when he was on that rehab start. That's a whole different animal to come back in a major league setting, to be late in the game, and you're put in specifically to steal a base, and to be able to get that edge, to be able to get that right jump. It's not that easy.
Well, to your point, he looks more rusty on the bases than he does at the plate.
Well, it's a different edge. You know, pitchers all have different moves. They all look a little different.
Prado trying to shoot that ball to the right side, fouls it back to the screen.
When you're a base stealer, you're seeking keys, and not only that, once you got the key, you got to have that nerve, that edge, to trust what you see, and to just to be able to fire as soon as you see what you're looking for, or to shut it down when you don't see what you're looking for.
Cubs defense to right center against Prado. And a soft line drive is going to find Zobrist. Cubs are very good defensively. A lot of the advanced metrics say they're the best defense in terms of efficiency, and that was a great play by Baez last night. Southwest takes you around the outfield and in the infield. Man Contreras is versatile. He's in left, Fowler in center, Hayward in right, Bryant and Rizzo on the corners. Javi Baez, it's the third different infield spot he's had in this series. Christian Yelich, a liner to left, and it's over the head of Contreras all the way to the wall. Yelich to second. Scoring is Gordon, and Christian Yelich gives Miami a 1-0 lead. And there is your extra base hit and the importance of it.
Yeah, this ball was misplayed. Maybe if he goes right away, he catches this ball, but he comes in and kind of has to do the old banana route. But that ball landed on the edge of the track, and as hard it was hit, he would have had to have a great route in order to catch it. Anything less than perfection doesn't give you much of a chance. And that, you're right, Rich, that is the importance of the extra base hit, to be able to score runs with not having to get 3 in an inning.
And it puts Yelich in scoring position for Stanton, who takes a strike. Giancarlo last night, a couple of really loud singles, one to left and one to right center. Pulls one foul and wide of third. And it's 0-2. It's the first lead for the Marlins in this series. Stanton swings and misses. And so a strikeout of Stanton. Here comes Ozuna. The big bat for the Marlins in the win over Lackey back on June 25th was Justin Bour, who had a 2-run homer. Remember, Bour also had a grand slam in that Cubs series. Marlins have missed him here against all these righties. The Fish facing 3 right-handers. Hamill last night, Hendricks in game 1, and Lackey here. And the hope is that on Friday night, Bour will be in uniform in Colorado. Ozuna swings and misses. Marcel also with a couple of hits, and both of those singles. Breaking ball didn't go, and the count's 1-2. An RBI double by Christian Yelich. And Ozuna calls time. We would expect the ball to jump pretty well here today. The wind, kind of a crosswind from the right field foul pole over to left. And Lackey got him. So a pair of strikeouts to finish the inning, but not before Miami jumps out to a 1-0 lead. Yelich an RBI double. Tom Kohler gets the ball next. Wrigley. Cubs have won 6 of their last 7. Second best after the break. Their lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Well, leading it off is that guy that you just saw right there, Dexter Fowler. Chris Bryant batting second. Anthony Rizzo is batting third, playing first. Ben Zobrist is in the cleanup spot. Wilson Contreras is in left field today, not behind their plate, batting fifth. Jason Hayward sixth. Miguel Montero seventh. Hosby Baez, as we've said, is in his third spot on the field this series. He's batting eighth, playing shortstop. John Lackey batting ninth.
Tom Kohler, start number 22. He's brought his ERA down to 4.18 with 14 innings in his last 2 starts and just 1 run. You see the career numbers at Wrigley. Fowler, Bryant, Rizzo. And if you want to give an MVP for last night, Dexter Fowler is your guy. He started seemingly everything, scored twice, 2 hits, stolen base, triple, RBI. The Cubs certainly missed him when he was on the disabled list, and they seem to have picked right back up from their April and May pace when he's returned. Jeff Mathis held it, but it's ball 2, and you can see it was out. Fowler a bouncer. Johnson has it. Kohler on his way, and he gets there ahead of Fowler. Miami defensively behind Kohler. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Prado, Echeverria, Gordon. Yeah, I said Johnson. It is Dietrich at first. And then Jeff Mathis behind the plate. It's called the bad hop. But you pick it up, Preston, you make the play, and you move on. Chris Bryant climbs in with Rizzo behind him. Bryant had the night off last night. Kohler's breaking ball misses away.
You know, Rich, you get a break. There's so many nights or days where you say everything correctly. You know, and you know, when you talk for 2.5 to 3 hours straight, every now and then something wrong is going to come out.
Stuff gets sideways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Goes pear-shaped in a hurry. You just got to clean it up.
Just like Tom Kohler's hair, he's cleaned it up. That video from last year, and the flowing locks, the goatee. Kohler a clean look here, and a 2-0 count. To the Cubs slugger. I mean, I want to call him the Cubs third baseman, but that would not do him justice because he plays in a variety of spots. Been in the outfield, and he has embraced that role. Some guys would, you know, chafe at that and get pushed out of shape. But I think here with Joe Madden and the Cubs, we see Contreras in left today. Baez is at short. There's a strength in versatility.
It allows Madden to put his best matchups on the field, and it allows him to keep his hottest bats in the lineup because of the versatility.
And I think that's one of the reasons Bryant had the night off last night. Just 1 for his last 13. His power numbers after the break have not been great. But the Cubs after the break have been really good, 12 and 6. And this word of warning, the best team after the All-Star break, Colorado at 13 and 5. The Marlins are there on Friday night.
But Colorado is taking a big hit losing Trevor Story. That's going to be a different series without them having that guy.
Kohler's breaking ball just above the edge, just above the letters, so to speak. And here is Rizzo. Yeah, that when you got the best record in baseball, life is good, and it's been good for the Cubs seemingly from spring training. Preston Wilson pointed out at the outset of this series, The strength of the Cubs offense is getting on base and chewing up pitch counts. Whether it's Fowler, Bryant, Rizzo, Zobrist, Contreras, Hayward, high on base and healthy slugging percentages for most. There's a strike to Rizzo. Rizzo 396 on base, 574 slug. And that slugging percentage has him third in the National League. Daniel Murphy, Jake Lamb, and then Rizzo. And there's your on base leaders. Look at the margin between the Rockies and the Cubs. Good command on that fastball. It's 1-2. $36 more walks than any other team. They get hit more than any other team. Bryant's at first. Rizzo fouls it back to the screen. This series a great example of the ability of Rizzo to get on base. 9 plate appearances. He's been on base 7 times. With a double and a triple and a single as well. Not a big lead by Bryant. Breaking ball, Rizzo to left. Yelich makes the play. And there's 2 outs, and here comes Zobrist. Marlins head to Denver. We were talking about Justin Bour and the hope that he's ready on Friday. He might not be in the starting lineup, though, because Jorge De La Rosa, lefty, opens the series for the Rockies against David Phelps. Phelps into the rotation. Marlins in a bind a bit with Colin Ray's injury and his return to the Padres. Andrew Cashner gets the Saturday start. Adam Conley the Sunday start. And the Marlins will see right-handers on Saturday and on Sunday. Chad Bettis and John Gray. Zobrist now. Zobrist had his day off in game 1 of the series. And if there's a patron saint of versatility, he's the guy.
Yes. Oh, the thing about Zobrist is he plays multiple positions fairly well. You know, some guys, when you move them around, they may be adequate at the position. Zobrist plays a pretty good outfield when you put him out there. He can play a good third base occasionally. Wherever you put him, he seemed to have done a good job.
A lot of hitters going with the shades at the plate. Shows you how bright it is today in Chicago. And the 2-0 is a strike.
The biggest factor in day games really is, even if the sun isn't too bright in your face, all the white t-shirts create a lot of glare, and the sunglasses cut down on that. Sometimes on the day games you see a lot of white t-shirts in the bleachers. That creates a lot of reflection, sun bouncing off of that, you know, that white fabric. So it takes some of the glare off the hitter's eyes to kind of relax your eyes a little bit.
Another strike. Boy, and the bleachers are packed on this day game. A lot of sunbathers out there. Sun's out. Yeah. Guns out.
And the last thing you want to do is try to hit a 90+ miles an hour pitch and you're squinting because your eyes aren't relaxed.
Runner on the move, and it's smacked into right center. Bryant to third. Stanton returns it to second. And Zobrist has a hit. So with Bryant moving, Zobrist hits it on the button.
Yeah, just really good execution. Brian on the move. He runs really well for a power guy. Zobrist does what he does, puts the ball in play.
And now it's Wilson Contreras, who's had a nice series offensively. All 4 Cub hitters have taken the first 3 pitches of their at-bats. And that's how Kohler has arrived at 20 pitches. And this is batter number 5 at the corners. 3 walks and 3 hits for Contreras in 2 games. Joe Madden getting Miguel Montero behind the plate, but moving Contreras out to left.
Going with Contreras out there, it shows you how hard the line drive is to defend as an outfielder. When you get out there and you see the different guys get thrown out there in different positions, sometimes you get exposed with their lack of experience, because there's some plays that it really takes a lot of work to be able to get, and you never really master them. And the line drive at you as an outfielder is one of those plays.
No swing. It's Mike Winters down at first. Marty Foster calling balls and strikes. Winters at first, Mark Wegner at second, Mike Malinsky at third. The 4 umpires: Marty, Mike, Mark, and Mike. And even Marty Foster's got the shades on.
Aren't those the Pep Boys? Oh no, it's Manny Moe and Jeff.
Prado cuts it off to Gordon in time, and Kohler leaves 2 and protects a 1-0 Miami lead. Chrysler is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball on an outstanding afternoon in Chicago. Soon Soldier Field will be filled. Wrigley Field has been filled for all 3 games of this series. Derek Dietrich, Jeff Mathis, Adeiny Echeverria against John Lackey. And Dietrich takes ball 1. You can see that Dietrich is starting to come out of his slumber. That 0 for 23, which was snapped by the walk-off pinch hit triple against the Cardinals. What's turned the trick for him, Preston?
Well, I think it's better pitch selection lately. You know, sometimes when you get a little anxious, you stop remembering the key factor in hitting. That's get a good pitch to hit. no matter how much you work on the tee, no matter how much work you put in batting practice, if you don't get a good pitch to hit, you're not going to be able to do your job.
Dietrich really not happy. You could see his reaction after that strike call. See pitch 3. And instead of a 3-0 count, it was 2-1. And for a young hitter, this is the time where you can't bury yourself, right? I mean, how do you psychologically get over the hurdle of that third pitch?
Well, you just have to erase it. Bobby Valentine used to say, what do you care? If it's early in the count, it's only your first strike, he'd say, what do you care? And it's kind of like hitting that reset button.
Line drive, Rizzo robs him. I think he cares about that one.
Yeah, that one you care about. Rizzo on the rise. Gets up and snares that thing.
No doubt from years of pickup hoop in Parkland.
That's why baseball is just unfair. Because he did everything right, you get nothing to show for it. If you shoot a jumper and you do everything right, it's going to go in.
Mathis goes after the first pitch. He pops it up. Bryant shading the sun. Just like that, John Lackey has 2 outs here in the inning. Toyota brings you an inside look. We're going inside Cubs pitching. Now, they had a great start in April and May and part of June, but from June 20th, the All-Star break, no bueno. Post-All-Star break, back to being the Cubs again. 2.44 ERA, and all told 3.20. That's best in Major League Baseball. Danny Echeverria. And of course, the Cubs built an enormous lead in the Central, and they're in the process of rebuilding that lead. Quickly 0-2 on Echeverria. The Cardinals have dropped 3 in a row. The Cubs have won 3 straight. And so their lead in the Central now bulges to 9 games. Biggest in baseball. Baez to first. And an easy inning for Lackey. 9 pitches total. 1-0 Miami.
By and say hello to Harry Carey. In Chicago, then I have to stop by and say hello to Harry Carey. Harry Carey started calling Cubs games after the 1981 season. He's one of the most famous Cubs broadcasters of all time, and that was perfect timing to start broadcasting games because that's when Cubs games were being carried nationally. So the nation was able to fall in love with Carey's unique style that included mispronouncing players' names and also leading Cubs fans in his own rendition of Take Me Out to the Ballgame in the 7th inning. He's in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in the Radio Broadcast Hall of Fame. And hey, Will Ferrell did an impersonation of him on Saturday Night Live. That's when you know, guys, that you have really made it.
Oh, yeah. The legend. I think the timing was good when he came here as well, because I believe Budweiser was a major sponsor at that time. Hey, hi, how are you? It's a small booth, and it's next on the renovation list.
It's a little tight in here, Rich.
That's all right. The view is exceptional. This may be the best vantage point in the National League in terms of actually calling a game from where we get to peer down onto the field. Jason Hayward, Miguel Montero, and Javier Baez. There's a look at it.
We sit next to each other on the plane, and we haven't touched as much as we've touched here in the booth in these 3 games all season.
I got nothing on that. So. This counts 1-1 to Jason Hayward.
Just illustrating how tight it is in here.
Yes. All right, to illustrate how patient these Cubs are, 24 pitches for Tom Kohler in the first inning. The Cubs swung at just 6 of them. Echeverria got the glove up. He makes the catch. Even with glasses, the glare is really tough today. 2017 season tickets. If you place a deposit, you guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game in Miami. Don't miss your chance to secure seats for this once-in-a-generation event. All the All-Star Week activities. Deposits start at just $250. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/season tickets.
By taking so many pitches today, it shows that the whole Cubs lineup have bought into the game plan that they've set out. Kohler has a history of falling behind early in the count, ending up with a higher pitch count. So what they're doing, they're saying, look, we're going to see if that continues today. If they go the first time through the lineup and it doesn't, they'd switch. But
Miguel Montero, center field. Ozuna, just shy of the track, makes the catch. And there's 2 outs. Up comes Javier Baez. This is the first ball game of the day in Major League Baseball. You've got a couple more afternoon games. The Nationals are in Arizona. Nationals have won 2 there already. Miami sits 6 back. And then Milwaukee and San Diego tangle at Petco. Mets and Yankees back at it tonight. They've split the first 2 in that series. Baez has been brilliant defensively wherever he's been in this series and this season.
he goes in that special category when you talk about a defender. And again, Cubs batters seeing if Kohler can get himself ahead in the count. He hasn't had much success doing it yet. And they're making him throw a lot of pitches.
See, Baez has been 0 for 15. Chases a breaking ball. Strike, outside corner. It's 2-2. And Fox Tracks shows you that Kohler got a bit of a break there. Looked like the corners in and out for Marty Foster are a little generous to begin with. You know, if I'm always into technology and advancements, if they do go to the Fox Tracks / robot umpire calling balls and strikes, do you think at some point some player is going to go after the little box that sits in the dugout or something? That
I think it would quiet down a whole lot of arguments. To
right, Stanton on his way in, and he makes little basket catch. 1-2-3 inning. Headed to the third, and Miami's up 1-0. Top three, even in the bleachers. Even in the bleachers, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, counts, descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Go heavy on the sunscreen. That fan hopeful that Ichiro is going to get some pinch hitting duties later. Not in the lineup. Tom Kohler takes a strike. Don Mattingly's been very consistent about how he's used Ichiro. And Preston, I'm in with your point that had the Marlins not lost the first two and had the outfielders not been swinging it well, Yelich or Ozuna stand, that Ichiro might have been in. It all started in spring training. And someone asked Mattingly would Ichiro get as many at bats as he did last year, and he didn't hesitate, didn't miss a beat, and he said if he does, we're in trouble. So he has used him as the fourth outfielder, as a weapon, and I think it's helped Ichiro and certainly has helped the Marlins.
Well, and for those of you who don't understand what he meant by that statement, was when you got three young guys who are part of what some think is the best outfield in baseball, if Ichiro's getting a lot of at-bats, that means somebody's injured, somebody's not playing well, or somebody got sent down. And when you have that, and these are your most productive power average guys, maybe outside of Prado and Bohr on your team, you're in trouble if those guys aren't doing it.
D. Gordon, infield hit. And a stolen base and a bunt. Lackey fields. Gordon beats it. And I said earlier he looked a little rusty. I'll tell you what, he looks like midseason form from last year. An infield hit, stole the bag, scored a run, and a bunt single here. And I would expect with one out he'll be itching to steal again.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where it actually helps you as a base stealer, because now you understand you got a fastball pitcher up there, so you don't have to worry about whether it's going to be too many breaking balls. Lackey doesn't throw that many, and he's definitely not going to throw that many, so it takes that out of your mind. You just got to decide what your keys are and pick it up and get a good jump. That's it. You're not worried about what the pitch might be when you got a guy like Lackey on the mound. And Wilson Contreras isn't back there, so that helps as well.
Strike to Prado, who lined to second back in the first. Gordon would score on the Yelich RBI double.
And when a guy that's slow to the plate, you know you don't have to get your best jump. Leads a little bit shorter than last night. Last night, I will say this, I do think D's lead may have been a little bit too big, because even if a guy is slow to the plate, he may be quick to first base. So you have to shorten your lead a little bit and then just trust what you see. I think the biggest thing is just getting used to being the big league speed, the adjustment that these big league pitchers make. Minor leaguers don't do that.
Lackey holding again. Now, you mentioned the Contreras factor, and the young catcher for the Cubs throws quite well. He has thrown out 5 of 12. Miguel Montero is having a real difficult year. He has thrown out just 2 of 48.
This is a base stealer's dream. I would love to be on first with a situation like this.
Ball's in the dirt.
Because even though you always want to get that great jump, now you know you don't have to. You're looking to get as good of a jump as you can, but you don't have to get that great jump.
Watch Gordon.
And that's just awareness, knowing that there's nobody at the bag. So if something weird happens and Rizzo kicks the ball, you can just keep going. You know that pitcher, the pitcher's nowhere in the pitcher. You know that. So you just hang out a little bit. That's all. Get your legs loose.
Prado, diving stop, Zobrist, out there, out there. Wow. Well, we told you about defensive efficiency and how the Cubs are one of Major League Baseball's very best. Exhibit A, Zobrist to Baez to Rizzo. Look at the hats. Are those flamingos? How about the guy in the big sombrero? Now, this is terrific stuff. You talked about Zobrist and how good he is wherever he plays. The same can be said of the guy turning it in Baez. And that was a hard hit ball from Prado. And now Tom Kohler back to work. And it's John Lackey, then Dexter Fowler and Chris Bryant. Lackey gets into one. Ozuna in pursuit, and it goes to the wall. And John Lackey opens with a double here in the third.
He came out hacking.
He's not into this I'm taking pitches stuff, right?
Nah,
he's not on that program.
Nah, everyone else did, but he didn't. He gets something center cut, See the catcher's targets outside. That ball runs back a little bit down and in. Lackey does a good job getting the hands through. Usually a lot of guys can't hit that ball back to center down and in. A lot of times that's a ground ball to shortstop or third, but he gets some hands through. Barrel comes in there, drives it over Ozuna head. He's got no chance to catch that, and the Cubs are in business with a leadoff double.
First extra base hit of the season for Lackey. Fowler bounced to Dietrich to open the ball game for the Cubs. And a fastball from Kohler is up. This is second time through. We talked about how patient the Cubs were with the first 6 hitters. Fowler through Hayward. We'll see if that changes here second time around. Two and 0. Dexter Fowler, last year with the Cubs, what some would consider a career year, and he's topping it this year with 17 homers, swiped 20 bags, scored 102 runs. That's 4th. It was 4th in the National League. Mathis held it, but no call. Artie Foster didn't budge. And there's the reason why. It was just in. Fowler to left. And Yelich makes a catch. So an out here in the 3rd. And that brings up Chris Bryant. The rival of the Cubs and one of the pursuers of the Marlins in the wild card, the St. Louis Cardinals, collapsed late last night against the Reds. Reds came back to beat the Cardinals and dropped the Cardinals to 6 over. Miami starts this afternoon 7 over. You see the wild card numbers. We talked last night about Yasiel Puig and the Dodgers demoting him. It'd be interesting to see where that ends up. Whether Puig ends up somewhere else. Bryant trying to launch.
I think Puig got in that situation where they made an adjustment to his swing. He pretty much went no stride. They changed his hand position, and he just went through a period where he just couldn't figure it out. He's up there thinking too much. Trying something new at the major league level is tough. It's even more so when you're doing it against great players and great pitching. So those are years where things go poorly.
Well, don't you think some of his issues are bigger than just his swing, though? I mean, defensively, he's had issues.
Yeah, it's a total thing. But when you have a guy who starts to struggle offensively, sometimes it goes into the defense. We've seen it when Marcell Ozuna struggles at times. Every now and then, if he goes through a prolonged struggle, we'll see it show up in his defense. It happens to almost everyone.
Chris Bryant strikes out. Tom Kohler, after the leadoff double by Lackey, has a couple of outs. Here comes Anthony Rizzo.
Or Kohler here really lights up a good fastball here. Misses location, but's got plenty on it to get it by Bryant. Yeah, Kohler's definitely getting by more on stuff than command today. You know, he's still got good life. He's got good movement, but the location, the command has not been what it had been for the last 2 games that he started.
Rizzo flied to left, and Kohler misses. Lackey still at second. Cardinals weren't the only to collapse last night. San Francisco's bullpen got knocked around. The Phillies beat them 13-8 in a wild game, which the Phillies had a 6-0 lead early, lost it, and then came back, erased a 1-run Giant lead, and scored 5 runs in the 8th inning. And the Phillies beat the Giants 13-8. The Marlins, of course, are headed to Colorado. The Rockies are red hot. They beat the Dodgers last night 7-3 to pull even at 500. And then the Giants come in on Monday at Marlins Park for a 3-game series. Rizzo went. Lackey's going to take third on a ball that gets by Mathis. So it's the second strike, but it's costly. It cost the Marlins 90 feet. And a wild pitch.
Yeah, that one just sneaks right through the wickets on Mathis.
Kohler strikes out Rizzo and strands Lackey at third. Tom Kohler and the Fish, a 1-0 lead, and that was a strike. Ready on Friday night for the Fish, a mile high against the Rockies. David Phelps bullpen session yesterday. Phelps into the starting rotation. Jorge De La Rosa, who has figured out the secret to winning and pitching well in Denver, goes for the Rockies. Phelps very good in the long roll in his last appearance. So the Marlins, in the absence of Colin Ray, have given the ball to David Phelps. Big strikeout for Kohler. 2 of them, getting Bryant with Lackey at second and getting Rizzo with Lackey at third. And here is Yelich. Christian Yelich likes it here. In all 11 games he's played at Wrigley Field, he has 18 total hits. He's hit in every game. 2 doubles, 3 homers. It's the second longest active streak by an opponent. Hunter Pence with 15. Lackey with a long look in. And the count 2-1. That was a pretty good pitch. Pitch misses in. And it's 3-1. Yelich's double over the head of Wilson Contreras. It gave the Marlins their 1-0 lead. Good breaking ball from Lackey there. It's 3-2. Yelich scorches one to left. Well, whatever it is, he is into Wrigley. Maybe it's the deep dish. Maybe it's Stan's Donuts. I don't know. Marlins and Giants at 7:10. Well, you can eat seats for just $25. All military personnel, first responders, and veterans with a valid ID can receive complimentary tickets to the South Florida Heroes Mondays. Marlins.com for more. Giancarlo Stanton now. So Yelich now at 12 games in a row here at Wrigley. 20 hits in those 12 games. That's kind of like you, Preston Wilson, at Wrigley Field.
Enjoyed it here. It's kind of fun hitting in this ballpark. You know, I felt like every time I came here I had a chance to reach the seats.
Well, our research shows a dozen homers. Stanton pulls it foul.
There were some long ones hit here, Rich. There were some memorable ones.
Two and one with Yelich away from first. Now, not every slugger enjoys it here.
No.
Stanton to center. Fowler fighting the sun. Makes the catch. And Stanton is a guy that hasn't had great success.
I find Stanton to be one of the more interesting power hitters I've ever seen because he hits for better power in the biggest ballparks he plays in. He hits well in Shea. Washington has a big center field. He hits well there. In the big ballparks, he hits San Francisco, L.A., San Diego, all of those West Coast ballparks that are big, he hits really well in.
Speaking of big, you can see Stanton's head right up again. He can't even stand up straight in that dugout.
Yeah.
1914.
See that little green
design.
pad right there at the top of the dugout? That pad has been put there. It's been put there years ago, but it was put there because so many guys used to come in and hit their head right on that thing. I've seen guys really injure themselves. I'm talking about blood pouring down because they're not used to that low dugout overhang right there, and they're coming off the field. You go down the steps and they bounce down, and it's just concrete against forehead.
That's what Hanley Ramirez did in Seattle last night, was bounce down the stairs. He injured his wrist coming off the field after the Red Sox collapsed. Their bullpen collapsed, but Hanley injuring his left wrist.
Yeah, there's some ballparks that whatever they put on the stairs is kind of slick. It's okay for sneakers, but if you're wearing metal spikes, they don't really stick into it.
Yelich chased back. Marlins swiped a bag in the first. Remember, we told you Miguel Montero's had a miserable year throwing the ball.
It's like when you watch football and the guy runs out of bounds, and when he gets to the barrier that's around the stadium, the cleats slip. Where everybody walking around in sneakers is fine, but you can't dig into it when you got something protruding from the bottom of your shoes, and that's where injuries happen. You have to make sure that the players are protected as well. Lackey with the drop down piece right there.
Yeah, dropped the arm slot down. And Ozuna with a count now at 2-2. With one out, Yelich good speed at first. And that's a pitch that Ozuna chased in his first at bat for strike 3. Time called. Ozuna, I believe, called it.
And on that drop down pitch, Lackey, unlike some pitchers, he'll throw both fastball and breaking ball from that little 3/4 slot.
Little quick pitch there. Maybe some gamesmanship from Lackey.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. If the pitcher makes you stand in there a while and you want to call timeout, fine. And he has the right to quick pitch. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good baseball to me.
All right, let's see if Yelich is running. He should be, you would think. Full count, 1 out. He's not running. And Ozuna to left. Contreras is there and he makes the catch.
Yeah, got Ozuna out front just a little bit. You could hear that sound. I think it may have even broken his bat. Just did not quite get it good. It was a good pitch to hit up in his zone.
You surprised Yelich wasn't on the move?
I'm a little bit, yes. I thought he would be moving on that 3-2 pitch.
Here's Dietrich now. Robbed of a hit. Leaping catch by Rizzo back in the second. That's an awkward pop, and there's nobody at first. Rizzo sold out thinking he could either get the ball or maybe get the out at second. Once he vacated first, Dietrich had himself a hit. Maybe they do all even out after that line drive. This little bloop shot.
That's an absolute grenade that he lobbed out there and just stuck in the ground. You can't even call that a dying quill. A dying quill at least gets maybe to the outfield.
Well, the Marlins have 5 hits. 3 have not left the infield. And so Dietrich extends the inning. Here's Mathis now. First pitch he saw, he popped up back in the second. And he goes after the second pitch he sees, and Fowler lines it up and makes the catch. Miami leads 2, 1-0. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, by Checkers Fast Foodies, know the deal, and by Warren Henry, now celebrating our 40th year as Miami's best luxury dealer. Pristine lakefront, Wrigley Fields, gentle breeze, actually going from right to left. Bleachers filled. You see the rooftop seats have occupants. Best to work on that before the game, but you between innings is all right.
That's what practice is for, Rich.
That's right.
That's what practice is for. Though Allen Iverson would disagree, that's what practice is for.
Ben Zobrist, Wilson Contreras, and Jason Hayward. Bottom four, Tom Kohler and John Lackey. That's the matchup here. Off day tomorrow, and the first off day for the Marlins in 21 days. This is game number 20 in a row for the Fish right after the All-Star break. And Zobrist takes down low. Now, of course, that comes after the All-Star break, but in this summer heat, to play 20 in a row like that, not easy. Off day tomorrow in Denver, much needed.
But there's usually a pretty good stretch before the break as well. A lot of people, you know, because they want to stretch out those off days. In major leagues, you average a day off every 20, 21 days. So if you got those 3 or 4 and 5 days off in the middle for the All-Star break.
Zobrist out to center. 20 games in 20 days. And we figured we'd roll up some of the numbers. Marlins are 10-9 in the 19. That's not bad. Runs per game, batting average. Bullpen ERA is good. Overall ERA is good. Ball club's been playing well.
Well, I know as an outfielder, you feel that. Especially when you play in center field in big ballparks, getting some action. You feel that because it's every day you're making that long run out there, then running during the inning and running back and travel. And that's kind of a part of the manager's task, is to figure out what certain guys' number is. Like if you played certain guy 9 days in a row, some guys it's 14 days in a row. Usually most players have a certain number that you can see a change in them as far as energy level, as far as concentration, just physical output, mental awareness. Things start to break down when guys start getting tired.
Wilson Contreras takes in. Contreras 0 for 1. Cubs have some really talented young players. Contreras, one of those. Javier Baez, he's just 23. Of course, Chris Bryant's 24. Heck, Anthony Rizzo's only 26. Hayward about to turn 27. Addison Russell at 22. Prado bounces up, and across the diamond he goes for out number 2. And that brings up Hayward. Miami will see a lefty on Friday night, Jorge De La Rosa. David Phelps jumps into the rotation. It's Andrew Kashner and Chad Bettis. Bettis a righty on Saturday. Adam Conley and John Gray on Sunday. Gray is a right-hander as well. Hayward with a high and deep fly ball. Well, not that deep. Got under it more than I thought, and it ends up into the seats. Living up to that contract is something that Jason Hayward, especially when you're hitting .233 and have just 5 home runs.
I just don't see the extension from him. For me, the bat is never getting to the front of the plate, and it happens. I went through a period in my career early in season 2006 in Houston where I was like that. You just have to find a way to make the adjustment, and right now he's having a tough go of it.
And right now Tom Kohler is dealing. Good sharp breaking ball and a 1-2-3-4. Bubble gives you greater coverage of baseball. Let's span the globe. Well, not the globe, but Major League Baseball. Miguel Cabrera. All of a sudden, Miggy's heating up, and the Tigers beating the White Sox 7 in a row. Pedro Alvarez. That's Photoshop. Look at that Oriole cap on there. Come on. 2 homers power the Orioles over the Rangers, and Jose Bautista, 300th of his career. Echeverria bunts. Lackey fires the first and etches out by a pretty good margin.
Just got to get that ball more towards the third base line. When you don't make the pitcher field it, when you make the pitcher field it, you got to get him going towards third enough to kind of throw his momentum off. That didn't happen on that play. It's a lot easier play for a pitcher when he can easily arrest his motion and then go towards first base.
Kohler takes a strike. Called out on strikes in the third. 3 strikeouts for Lackey. And John Lackey's pitch count. Nice easy 53. Kohler has thrown 61 in his 4 innings. Lackey is he's a Texas guy, a gunslinger personality. Lots of postseason experience and success. And he strikes out Kohler for the 2nd time. He's made 20 starts in the postseason. And an ERA in the low 3s, 3.11. 8 wins in those 20 starts. D. Gordon, infield hit, stolen base, scored a run, bunt single as well.
Yeah, he hasn't hit a ball that's reached the outfield grass yet, and he's got 2 hits.
Marlins got that run in the first. Yelich would double home Gordon. Still 0-2. Two of his starts last year, two of his postseason starts last year were against the Cubs. In the division series, he was 1-0 with a 3.48. That I'm sure, after the Cubs saw a lot of him in the regular season for 2 years, added to the attractiveness of locking him into this rotation. A rotation that's been splendid this year. I think a guy that goes under the radar is Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach. Gordon chases ball in the dirt and he's tagged out. And Lackey goes 1-2-3 with a pair of punch outs in the fifth. Halfway through at Wrigley, it's 1-0 Miami.
Are those rooftop bleachers where you can watch the game. One of the coolest features of Wrigley Field is the scoreboard. You can see it right behind me. Wrigley Field was built in 1914, but the scoreboard didn't come along until 1938. Since then, it's gone through a couple of changes. They added the clock in 1942. They added the lights and the grid in 1989. And as you can see, guys, not only are you going to get the scores of today's game, you're going to get scores from around the National League and the American League as well. And this scoreboard, very similar to Fenway, it's one of the few that is still manually operated by hand.
All right, thank you, Jess. One of the unique things, it also helps local math test scores, because it doesn't put up the score total, it puts up the by inning total. So
right.
you have to, if you're following along, add up the runs. Obviously, in this ball game, it's pretty easy, and the other two afternoon games are getting close to starting. So you gotta add them up.
I gotta find out what because this is such a unique ballpark. I want to find out what Jess thinks is the most unique feature of this ballpark, other than the ivy. Everybody says the ivy. I want to hear some nooks and crannies type stuff around outside the playing surface.
Nooks and crannies.
Yes, nooks and crannies. Did you just get hungry for an English muffin just now, Rich?
Actually, my first thought was Nook Logan and Rick Kranitz. Two baseball names. So, well, look, the renovation continues, and this is a huge undertaking. $500 million spread out over, I think, 6 or 7 seasons. As Kohler misses to Miguel Montero. Right now, the biggest construction going on is the plaza and the office buildings beyond the outside of Wrigley on the third base side, which will have a huge plaza. Very much a gathering place before games. I think in that plaza they'll also have a spot for an ice rink in the winter.
Nice.
At least in the drawings that I saw.
Now they're doing a la Boston, a la St. Louis.
Yes.
With the baseball village somewhat around it.
Yes. Yeah, and all the streets around Fenway. Because as charming as this place is, it's in the middle of a neighborhood. There's not a lot of room to roam unless you're headed in and out of the Cubby Bear or one of the 794 bars that are within a 5-block radius. So that's what's going on right now. Also going on right now is Tom Kohler. He strikes out Miguel Montero. Right now shutting out the Cubs. 2017 Major League Baseball All-Star Game is coming to Marlins Park, and you can get up to the minute, up to the second updates and information. Sign up now for ticketing updates, breaking news, game information. Go to marlins.com/ASG. Ethan Cooperson is our resident baseball historian here. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. You just saw Jessica Blaylock. That one fouled at the plate. Ethan pointing out that the movie we were promoting the other night, Sausage Party, there are lots of those around here, a lot of brats. I know it's not Milwaukee, but it's close to Milwaukee, and so beers and brats.
Lots of brats and kielbasa and all kinds of stuff around here, Rich. It gets me every time.
Oh, come on.
And here he comes back again. There he is.
Blatant product placement. Baez on an 0 for 16 slide right now. One of the interesting things about this ballpark when you're here, and not really until you're here and you're looking at it, is the cutout behind home plate is not square with home. That circle, the backstop, whatever you want to call it, the brick wall, it does not conform to the diamond. Swing and a miss. I think that's one of the charms of this place.
It is.
If you look at it, if you go from second base through the pitching rubber right to home plate, you end up to the right of that white signboard behind home plate. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, so you see that the home plate pitcher's mound lines up pretty much with that aisle that's going up between the two sections right there.
That actually played a part on Sunday night when Steve Cishek and the Seattle bullpen collapsed on a wild pitch. The carom didn't go back to the catcher. It kicked down towards the Cubs dugout. This is Lackey. He doubled. He takes out.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful as a base runner. You're on third base on wild pitches because the wall back there is hard. So if it hits at the right angle, it's going to go right back to the catcher. You got to make sure you know what's going on back there.
My goodness, Lackey blasts one in the gap, and he's got another double.
Well, Tom Kohler had retired 8 in a row since the last John Lackey double, and he stops that streak again. Wow, ball up in the zone. It's amazing. Lackey took a ball down and in and hit it to center field the last time for a double. He takes the ball up and away and pulls it in the gap this time for a double. How do you pitch this guy?
Well, ask him.
He's not talking.
But it puts him in scoring position, and here's Fowler, who's 0 for 2. The most stressful inning for Kohler was the first. Cubs had runners at the corners with 2 outs, but he got Contreras to bounce out. Next in line was the third. Lackey was at second with 1 out, at third with 2 outs. Kohler struck out Bryant and Rizzo, ending that 3rd inning.
Kohler's performance, in my opinion, turned around. You're right, in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That's when the first pitch strike started happening more often. That's when these Cubs hitters were behind in the count more often, and he's been getting quicker outs and been much more efficient with his pitches.
Saw that pitch, had plenty of the plate. 0-2 coming to the switch hitting Fowler.
Mentioned Fowler accounting for all the runs last night, scored 2 runs, drove in the other one. Cubs are 49-22 when he starts, 16-9 when he doesn't. He's a big factor in why the Cubs have played well since he's gotten back. Sorry, I was 16-19 when he doesn't play. May have said 16-9.
3 under. And he was not in the lineup when the Cubs were in Miami, and he definitely has added a spark. Now he's playing, we talk about career years, and some of his numbers last year fit that. This year he's really making a difference for the Cubs.
Well, your prime years are supposed to be between 28 and 32. And some guys, it just takes a little while for you to get there. And if you play when you're young, it may seem like it takes you a while to become a better player. But, oh, Kohler, do it.
Yep, Tom Kohler, another strikeout. Fowler is out. Mathis tags him out. And 5 shutout innings from Kohler here at Wrigley against a really good Cubs team. That is quite a milestone, isn't it? 4,000 career strikeout in 1986. On this date in Major League history, Carlton as a San Francisco Giant.
I remember seeing him when I was a really, really young kid when he was pitching in Philadelphia. He was lefty, just had that great stuff. And guys talk about his strikeout ability. He was the first pitcher, first player I ever heard of that did his conditioning doing martial arts. At one point in his career, he didn't really do a whole lot of running. He did martial arts for his conditioning, and the club was okay with it.
All right, so that was 4,000 for Carlton. Where do you think he is on the all-time list right now? He ended up with 4,136.
That'd be top 5, right?
He is top 5. It's a good call. He is 4th. Nolan Ryan, 5.714. Randy Johnson, 4.875. Roger Clemens, 4.672. Bert Blyleven is 5th. Tom Seaver, Don Sutton, Gaylord Perry, Walter Johnson, and the top 10 rounded out by Greg Maddux. And a strike to Martin Prado.
You're welcome, Greg Maddux.
Oh, I sense.
And Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens. Anybody else I need to congratulate on that list?
Prado was robbed of a hit on a diving stop by Ben Zobrist at second. That started a double play. That was in the third. Maddox's number. We were here when his number was retired. Ricky ball misses out. We were also present for Ferguson Jenkins' number retirement here at Wrigley Field. Yelich and Stanton follow Prado. 6th inning for Lackey. And he's got plenty in the tank. He's in the mid-60s in pitch count.
Well, Maddux and Jenkins both wore number 31.
Speak for yourself, Preston. Colin Cowherd, Jason Whitlock do. They team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. Weeknights, 6 Eastern. All right, the continuing saga of Christian Yelich at Wrigley Field. Yelich, 12 games. He's hit in all 12. 2 more hits today. 20 for 50. Three doubles, 3 homers. One, 2 from Lackey. Cubs 3-2 winners last night. Jason Hamill beat Jose Fernandez. Aroldis Chapman, his 22nd save. Lackey exited the mound, circled back, and then looked back to the plate when he didn't hear strike 3. Let's see where it was. Eesh, that's plenty of the plate, obviously. And right at the very bottom of the hollow of the knee. That's the pitch there, and it was called a ball. Sometimes it's a strike. Al Leiter mentioned it a couple weeks ago that as pitchers, and he was representing all pitchers at the time, said he would give that pitch back if they would call the high strike, because he thinks that would speed up the game. Hitters would be more aggressive. They would go after the high strikes. Here's the 3-2. Of course, I don't know that Al had any permission from other pitchers to speak at the time, but that was his thought. If you're talking about speeding up the game, is come off the bottom of the knee a bit and call that high strike a little more.
Right.
Because hitters can do damage with the high strike. And pitchers, if they think they can get a strike, are going to go up there.
Well, I think velocity plays a part in that. The harder you throw, the more you can get away with being up in the zone.
That's a bolt to left and a leaping catch by Contreras.
That's a nice play.
Stanton smacked it pretty well. Still 1-0 Miami. presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. In the sun in Chicago, full house at Wrigley. Lots of energy. We've seen it the last 2 nights. The Cubs have the best record in baseball. And the love affair with this team has just grown and grown. After a trip to the National League Championship Series last year, it's World Series or bust. Or so it seems. Chris Bryant has walked and struck out. Tom Kohler delivers. The Cubs have 3 hits in the ballgame. 2 for extra bases. Both of the extra base hits are from John Lackey, of all people.
You know what? Maybe it's better that way.
He's got 2 doubles. Ben Zobrist singled back in the first. And there's the proof. 1 for 16. Rest of the team. That one, I don't think it was designed to go up and in. That almost looked like something backed up.
No, but when you make a batter reach and lean out over the plate a couple times and then one backs up on him, it's really tough to adjust.
2-2. In the air, Mathis battling the sun, and he can't make the catch. Mathis, a very good defensive catcher.
Yeah, that's just a tough play. You got the wind blowing. You see the flags above the stadium. You're actually going back towards the field a little. I mean, towards the home plate a little bit. So it's tough, and he's trying to find the wall, battle the sun. And that's a tough error to get, but I believe he's going to end up with an E2 on that one.
So an error on Mathis. No sunglasses.
Yeah, usually when you see a catcher have to go from palm out to palm up in the last second, that's when bad. You know he's not comfortable with it. He doesn't have a good view of what's going on with the ball.
Tom Kohler, though, comes back and makes a great pitch. How many times do you see something bad happen after a play like that? And Kohler makes sure it doesn't happen. His 7th strikeout.
Oh, TK, this is just delicious right here. Top of the strike zone, breaking ball inside, locks you up because it's a hard pitch to get to. Especially Chris Bryant is a really good low ball hitter as well. So when you work him down and away, up and in, away, up and in, those are not comfortable at bats. I didn't like when pitchers did that to me, Rich.
That's a strike. Rizzo went after it. Going to Mike Malinsky, the third base umpire. Anthony Rizzo's flied out and struck out. The tweak that Jim Benedict, Juan Nieves, and Tom Kohler were able to make in his delivery. In Tom's words on a post-game show, he feels like he's more directional to the plate. Rizzo, a liner into right. Stanton cuts it off. And the results have been almost immediate. The 2 starts against the Phillies, 8 innings and 6 innings, and just 1 run combined.
Well, there's a couple factors that play into that theory. One is you're able to go towards your target more often. It's a more repeatable delivery. And also you just stay in a more, you can repeat it because now you're staying on that same plane. When you get directional, your upper body has that twist to it. When you're turning, you see guys fall off the mound more. Their head's moving a whole lot more. So when you're directional, your head stays more still. You can repeat the delivery, and you can hit your target more often.
Zobrist 1 for 2. He pulls that one foul. Be interesting to see how the Pittsburgh Pirates respond in August and September. Pirates with a couple of trades at the deadline. Mark Melancon, of course, no longer there. That's deep right field, hooking and foul. And the count is 0-2. Cardinals are 9 back. Pirates are 11 back of these Cubs. Best record in baseball, best home record in the National League. And they've shown it here the first 2 games of the series. 5-0 shutout win on Monday, 3-2 win last night. This one not very deep, down the line, Stanton chasing.
Let's take a look at what the location should have been and what it ended up being. Mathis gives the target. He wants this ball up, and Kohler gets the ball up.
In the dirt, kicks away from Mathis.
Well, that pitch could be important simply because Kohler's already in the 90s with his pitch count, and that takes the double play out of order, and that's going to go down as a wild pitch. That ball bounced well out in front of Mathis.
So it's 1-2 to Zobrist.
Got some action down in the bullpen now.
Mike Dunn throwing in Miami's pen. .95 pitches in. Tom Kohler with a 1-0 lead. But the Cubs threatening here. Bottom 6. Nick Whitgren now joins Dunn. And Mathis will pay a visit on Kohler. Now remember those first couple of innings in which the Cubs took a lot of pitches. That's starting to take its toll. You look at that first inning especially. A 24-pitch inning. Cubs didn't score. And they sent just 5 men to the plate. Nobody swung in that first inning at the first 3 pitches of their individual at-bats.
Well, that's a team understanding that the Marlins have not gotten a lot of innings from their starting pitching this series. The bullpen has had to do a lot of work. So what do? You make sure that that starting pitcher has to throw a lot of pitches. You try to make him throw at least 2 or 3 pitches per batter, and that's going to inevitably get that bullpen in play for this game.
Zobrist to ground ball. Gordon has it. Rizzo to third. And so Kohler has 2 outs, but he still has to get Wilson Contreras.
Well, with Kohler's lack, Rizzo's lack of speed, the wild pitch by Kohler, that ball that was hit to D. Gordon there, that possibly could have been a double play ball. Rizzo doesn't run very well. Zobrist pulls the ball with left-handed. Who knows?
Well, it's tough to reconstruct an inning, but I'll tell you the other thing it's done here, Preston, is we've seen a ball get by Mathis, and you've got Rizzo at third. Remember, we talked about the wall behind home plate. You don't get a clean carom off of it here. And so Rizzo is 90 feet away. Contreras is up. And a bouncer up the middle into center field. The Cubs have tied it.
Back up. I was trying to say back up the box, Rich. Somehow I think my tongue got paralyzed, but right there, Contreras, aggressive, back up the box. D. Gordon does everything he can to try to get to it. And Tom Kohler is getting ready to exit this ball game.
Don Mattingly on his way out. And with Hayward up, you would expect Mattingly to go to Dunn. No signal yet from Mattingly. Marty Foster's on his way out. Mattingly may be buying some time. No, a pat on the back. He's going to stay with him.
Ah. That's one of the things you know about Tom Kohler. If he gets the option, he's going to say he wants to be out there. That's just his personality. That's his makeup. This is his game, and he wants to be out there.
Wilson Contreras at first. Hayward is 0 for 2. He's popped out and struck out. Kohler just shy of 100 pitches. Three hits and a double in the series. Hayward, an 8-game hit streak, but not extended today. Hayward wearing that face guard. He was hit in the face. It was 3 years ago. One of the guys that Giancarlo Stanton called in the offseason after he was hit. Hayward to right. That's deep down the line and foul. Count 1-2. Cubs have a run. Their first of the day. Miami got one off John Lackey right out of the gate. But Lackey has been a mystery since. Runner goes in the dirt. Mathis throw on the money and safe. Echeverria with the ball there in plenty of time went for the tag, and it looked like a matrix type slide from Contreras. And our first look is coming up.
This is one of those plays where you catch the ball out in front of the bag when you don't necessarily need to. He goes down to a knee, and that takes away his ability to cut down the ground to the player. Oh, that's a good slide.
It's a great slide.
That's a really good slide. It looked from this angle like Etch was even further in front of the bag. I have to change my opinion. He was actually in the baseline with the tag.
Watch him hold the back of his hand to the edge of the bag and stay on the bag that way. That is an incredible slide. And he's in scoring position. Hayward still alive at 2-2. Full count.
I got to give it to that's just a great slide. That's a great slide out there by Contreras. He went into the baseline, even though the throw beat him there, gave that little swim move, took that arm away, and then was able to hang onto the bag, like you said, Rich, just with the back of his hand and not lose contact with it. Tremendous effort.
Three-two coming to Jason Hayward. Wilson Contreras at second. Cubs have tied it here in the sixth. Breaking ball, and Dietrich has it. Tom Kohler finally relents and gives up a run. It's a 1-1 game to the seventh. Kohler steamed right now, and John Lackey is back to work. Now Lackey's pitch count lower than Kohler's significantly. Through six, though, you have to be impressed with the last three starts from Kohler. Here against one of the best offensive teams in baseball. Just a run and 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Buick, big matchup. This season, 3 apiece. Marlins and Cubs. Marlins won 3 of 4 in Miami. The Cubs have won the first 2 of this 3-game set.
But they're not just even this season, Rich. They're even since 1993, since the ball club came in. They're 89 and 89. Now, this does not count postseason play, but during the regular season, the Cubs and the Marlins are 89 and 89 throughout history.
Ozuna fouls it into the seats. Derek Dietrich and then Jeff Mathis against Lackey. If the inning gets deep, the pitcher spot due up 5th. Ichiro, who didn't start this ball game, has more plate appearances, more at bats than anybody. John Lackey. It's number 1 on Ichiro's list. But the Marlins would have to get some runners on and advance the inning to give Ichiro a shot. Obviously, Lackey and guys like Irvin Santana with the Angels, 121 at bats. Most hits and at bats against any pitcher. And Ozuna, big swing and a miss. Lackey still going strong. Digital Flex Pass features 20 digital tickets for just $199, $10 a game. You get to pick the games you want to attend. Marlins.com for tickets now. Dietrich hit a searing liner that was snared by a leaping Anthony Rizzo in the second. and then hit a somewhat of a chip shot pop-up that landed between the mound and the second baseman for a hit. So he's 1 for 2. Cubs have Travis Wood in their bullpen warming up. Dietrich trying to get on base. Hits him. Breaking ball comes in, clipped him in the leg. And so Dietrich is aboard.
Good look at this. See, this ball starts in. Oh, right above the knee on that outer quad muscle. Oof. Yeah, those don't feel too good. He's used to it.
Yeah, those two can trade notes, Rizzo and Dietrich. Both stand up on the plate. Now Mathis has seen 2 pitches. He has swung at both and popped one to third and flied one to center. It counts 0-1.
He decided to take a gander at one, let one pass by.
Echeverria. And then the pitcher spot. Mathis cranks one to left. It's hit deep and gone. A line drive homer by Jeff Mathis, and Miami reclaims the lead. That was an absolute seed.
Oh, this is great. He lined this thing up, and you're right, Rich. This thing got out of here in a hurry. It wasn't high, but it was far, and it was fast. I love the new leg kick that he's got this year, and he puts an absolute charge into this thing. Oh, and you know what's even better about it? His family's here. I got to see his brother, his family at dinner the other night, sat down with him, and to know that they're in the ballpark and get to see him get a start and hit a home run.
Echeverria rips one into left field. And so Echeverria singles to left. Ichiro is on deck. I don't know that he's going to get to face Lackey, though. Wood is ready. A right-hander is loosening up as well. And we'll see. No move yet from Joe Madden. So here is Ichiro. 2 away from 3,000. The guy he's seen more than any pitcher in the major leagues. And he lines one foul. The career numbers again. Ichiro struck out last night. A little soft line drive and a diving catch there by Baez. Wow. I don't know that Ichiro would have had a hit from that because Echeverria couldn't run with the ball in front of the shortstop.
It would have had to have kicked away.
Yes. So Ichiro's at bat. An offer. Here's Gordon. And D swings and misses. John Lackey trying to push through this inning. Jeff Mathis, a 2-run homer. Miami up 3-1. First homer for the Fish in 4 games. Oh, 0-2. it looks like Ichiro will go 0 for 3 in Chicago. His first night at bat was a bullet of a line drive that Bryant lunged and just got at third base. But a strikeout last night, a little soft looper out to short today. Runner goes, and Echeverria is in with a stolen base.
That was almost a walk and leave right there. He never really made edge stop. As a base runner, a base stealer, you look for those things when a pitcher's under a lot of stress. Maybe he just gave up a big hit. You get on, his focus isn't really on you. The pitch counts up. He's got 1 out left to get. You can get a bag in those just because the attention to the base runner isn't there.
And Gordon swings and misses. But the Marlins get to Lackey, and they use the long ball. From an unlikely source, Jeff Mathis, his second of the season. 7th inning stretch at Wrigley, and Miami's up 3-1.
Park is almost as famous as the ballpark itself. Wrigley Field and Wrigleyville go hand in hand. The 4 words used to describe Wrigleyville: sports, spirits, passion, and camaraderie. You're going to be able to find that at the hundreds of bars and restaurants in Wrigleyville, including Murphy's, which is right behind me. So if you come to a game here in Chicago, make sure that you get here very early so that you can enjoy Wrigleyville just as much as you enjoy Wrigley Field.
All right, thank you, Jess. Wrigleyville. And as we talked about, a neighborhood that's still undergoing changes. So all the enhancements and the redesign, refurbishing, renovation of Wrigley Field. Kyle Bearclaw into the ball game. Miguel Rojas is in as well. He's at first base. Bearclaw as the bottom of the order for the Cubs. Miguel Montero, Javier Baez, and then the Cubs pitcher spot.
There are a lot of players that come to Chicago and just fall in love with this place. They fall in love with the fans, the history, the tradition here. Wrigley Field being so unique. The fans just really backing their ball club through. It doesn't. These fans have backed this ball club even in down years. They've been able to have a lot of fans here during day games. It's a very unique place to play, and a lot of fans come here, and a lot of players come here, and they love it.
Do you put any credence into some of the complaints that day games, a lot of them are not easy for the home team?
Absolutely.
Fly ball left field. Yelich goes back. A turnaround and still makes the catch. That ball carried and carried into the little cutout there. Yelich kept going back and was on the right path.
Well, that's all that matters. When you go back, if you get your depth first, you can make that turn. You see how he got his head turned around and his shoulders didn't really do a whole lot of sway. What that does is it keeps your body on that same line. You get your depth first. If that ball is in that area that's kind of in your body line, it doesn't matter which way you turn first. You just got to get depth first and make the adjustment on the play. Christian Yelich does that about as well as anyone in the game, I believe.
Here is Baez. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. So Tom Kohler in line for the win if the bullpen can deliver. And right now the pen needs 8 more outs. Remember, no David Phelps in that bullpen. He will start on Friday. So in a perfect world, Bear Claw, Rodney, Ramos. But Preston, ain't no living in a perfect world.
This is true, Rich.
And as much as you'd like to draw it up, whatever manager in baseball will try to do it, you don't always get clean 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And a stretch where you have 19, 20 games in a row. Another part, I know I mentioned outfielders, center fielders, but another part of your team that feels there's a bullpen. You know, there's no day where everybody's shut down because the Marlins haven't gotten any complete games, and the bullpen's going to be active in some fashion.
Baez swings and misses. There's that devastating slider. Bear Claw, the highest strikeout per 9-inning rate of any reliever in the National League.
Yeah, and this has a lot to do with it. Such a tight slider. The arm motion is the same as the fastball. You don't pick it up until late. Baez never got that one.
So this is the pitcher spot for the Cubs. Lackey will exit, having gone 2 for 2 with a couple doubles. And Pitch a Penny welcomes back Chris Coghlan. Coghlan played his high school ball in Tampa, his college ball at Ole Miss, and of course a Rookie of the Year with the Marlins. One and two. Look, I know 95 and 96 miles an hour, that's hard, and that's velocity. But having watched what we watched last night with Chapman blowing 104 last night, Coghlan swings and misses, and Bear Claw punches out 2, goes 1-2-3 through the Cubs in the 7th to the 8th, 3-1 Miami. All right, thank you, Craig. Don Mattingly, Juan Nieves in Miami's dugout right now. 8th inning, Cubs go to their bullpen, and newly acquired right-hander Joe Smith. Sidewinder whips in a fastball for a strike. And look at Smith. ERA not normally where he would like it. Acquired for the Angels for a minor leaguer.
Nice breaking ball there, a little bit too far outside, but you can see how that sweeping arm motion can give right-handed hitters problems.
Joe Smith out of Cincinnati, Wright State University. Former Met, former Indian, and the last 3 seasons with the Angels, and a career ERA of under 3, 2.94. Prado to left, Contreras out there, and he makes a catch. Dinger is ready for you, Preston Wilson. And the Rockies are hot. Giancarlo Stanton and the Fish at altitude from Coors Field. Colorado is the best team in baseball since the All-Star break. This should be a fun series. The Rockies 13-5 since the break. They are without, however, Trevor Story for the rest of the year. Yelich takes out. Story tore a thumb ligament with a headfirst slide. It kind of irritated or aggravated it with a dive on defense, and will undergo surgery. But the Rockies still playing well, winning games, and cutting up a lot of distance as they are sneaking up on the rest of the wild card pack. Yelich, a laser to right, gone. Goodness. Christian Yelich, in the blink of an eye, his 11th, 3 for 4. He absolutely loves hitting at Wrigley. Over 400 in his career. Wow.
Well, you can have a funky delivery and throw sidearm, but when the ball ends up middle, it doesn't matter where you throw from. That ball cannot get more in the middle of the strike zone, and Christian Yelich lets him know about it. We've seen 2 low, scorching line drives hit out of the ballpark.
Here is Stanton now. Mathis, a 2-run homer. That was against John Lackey. And for Joe Smith, he's greeted with a Yelich homer. Stanton bounces that one foul.
Think about the old Bugs Bunny cartoons when the guy hits the ball and the ball's just screaming as it goes out of the ballpark. That's what those 2 were.
Stanton fouls that one off. So Smith has been a very effective and serviceable arm in the bullpen. I have had a chance to work alongside his wife, Allie LaForce, reporter, very, very talented for CBS Sports, doing some college basketball. She, of course, as well featured on SEC football, NCAA tournament.
seen her. She does do a very good job.
2-2. Stanton lifts one to right. Hayward in. And he makes a catch. And here comes Marcell Ozuna. An 0 for 3 for Ozuna. Struck out twice and flied out. Christian Yelich and Jeff Mathis, both with home runs late here. Mathis against Lackey. Lackey would go 7. Yelich here against Smith.
He's like, yeah, man, hey, we both are doing good today. Yeah, you hit yours hard. Well, I hit mine pretty far, too.
Ozuna into center field. You know, Mathis' home run, interesting in that it came against a former teammate. Of course, Mathis and Lackey back in the day with the Angels. 45th of Mathis' career. And of his 45 homers, they've come off 44 different pitchers. The only guy that he's homered more than once against pitched here this past weekend, and that's King Felix. He's homered twice against Felix. Ozuna with a hit, and here's Rojas for his first at bat, hitting in Dietrich's spot. Well, we said early, a little roller, sliding stop, and no chance for Baez. It's a base hit for Rojas. We talked earlier about the importance of extra base hits, doing some damage with the hits. The Marlins first 2 games had 16 hits, 15 of them singles. And so Yelich and Mathis with homers. Marlins had a double early in the game as well, and that was Yelich. Yelich is driven in 2. And of course, Mathis is driven in 2. Joe Madden is out. The Rojas single will chase Smith. West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Two down, top 8. Miami has stretched the lead to 4-1. Jeff Mathis, who had the 2-run homer to break a 1-1 tie his last time up, faces Carl Edwards Jr. Fastball misses out. Preston, this is your kind of guy. Prosperity, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
How close is that to your hometown?
That's a few hours away. That's up in the northwestern kind of part of the area by Clemson up there. Clemson University. That's in that area up there. That was more southeast in South Carolina. That's more up towards the top of the state, towards the west.
Ozuna at second. Rojas the runner at first.
I believe there's a town called Clinton. Clinton, South Carolina is right next to it. And when Bill Clinton was in office, the T-shirts that had Prosperity and Clinton pointing in opposite directions were pretty popular in South Carolina. True story.
48th round draft pick by Texas was Edwards. And Mathis swings and misses. He strikes out. Marlins done here, but Yelich's homer makes it 4-1. Miami, bottom 8, game summary. First inning, La Lechonera presents a Christian Yelich RBI double, scoring D. Gordon. Sixth inning, 1-0. Tom Kohler was outstanding. And Wilson Contreras with a 2-out single to center. So it's 1-1 there. And then Jeff Mathis against John Lackey. And this one jumped off his bat and out of the ballpark for a 3-1 lead. Joe Smith would come in to take over for Lackey, and he served this one up to Christian Yelich. A bullet to right. La Lechonera game summary. 4-1 Miami in Chicago.
Oh, breaking my heart right now, guys.
Now wait a minute. Why does that break your heart? Because
I don't get to have any, Rich. That's why.
Well, you got time before the plane takes off, right? I mean, you duck across the street.
I might have to. As soon as we're done with post game, I'm over there.
There's just a few places around here to get something to eat or drink.
I want that to eat, not something to eat.
Fernando Rodney. And Rodney misses in.
Is that? Oh my! That's Raul Stryker Jr. What is going on? And Lewis, one of our camera guys right there, is taking a picture of it as well. What is going on here?
You never know who you're going to see.
And I'm even more upset because he didn't even call me or text me to let me know that he's going over there.
Probably because that scenic shot was from a preseason Dolphins game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The crack staff was looking for a deep dish pizza shot. And they found one, but apparently it was, there they are.
I'm sorry, guys. I apologize, Raul. I might have jumped the gun a little bit right there. My stomach got the better of me.
Fowler, a sharp ground ball to right field. And Rodney gives up a hit to open up the bottom of the 8th. Well, I don't think I need to remind anybody how good the Cubs have been this year. I know they stumbled end of June, early July, but since the break, 12-6. And they've got plenty of pop in the lineup. Here's Bryant. Rizzo will follow. After that, Zobrist. Fowler's 5th hit of the series. Bryant over the head of Prado. Yelich cuts it off. Fowler's on his way to 3rd. Bryant holds 1st, and the Cubs are in business.
Well, the Cubbies came out hacking this ball middle, just like we talked about. Doesn't matter how hard you throw. If you throw the ball in the middle of the plate, good hitters in Major League Baseball, they're going to hit it. Yelich does the right thing, throws this ball to second base. And you see right here, Fowler actually runs into Prado. Prado kind of got caught hanging out in no man's land right there.
$41,147 coming to life, and all of a sudden Fernando Rodney has to tighten it up here. Rizzo singled in the 6th. Infield looking for a ground ball, and Rodney misses. Mathis on his way out. It has not been a smooth transition for Fernando Rodney from San Diego with the Marlins. His ERA at 4.5. He was untouchable as a Padre. And in a spot here where the Marlins trying to salvage the series and at least get a game before heading to Denver to see the red-hot Rockies. Strike.
To me, the most glaring number in that whole strike there was 28 games, 12 walks in San Diego. And since he's been here, he's got 7 walks already. I believe it said 7 games, 7 walks, or 9 games, 7 walks.
Rizzo laying off the changeup. And it's 3-1. It gets away. Fowler scores. Rizzo walks. And Rodney is all over the place right now. And the Cubs are within 2. Here comes Zobrist.
Yeah, he really pulls this one. Yanks it over there. Mathis can't get to it. And as you see that ball, even though it goes to the first base side of the plate, it ricochets over to the third base side.
Well, if you're having control issues, this is one team that will chew you up, especially the top of the order.
Very rarely do they swing themselves out of an at-bat. They're a selective team. And if you're not going to throw strikes, they're going to make you work. They're going to make you earn it.
Mike Dunn throwing in Miami's pen.
Right now, Rodney's got to try to find a way to get him a ground ball right here.
Zobrist 1 for 3. And he figured Rodney would try to groove a fastball, and he chased a changeup. 0 for 12 in his career against Rodney.
So even with Fowler on third, I really thought it was he has to think of this as if that guy wasn't even there. You know, this is a situation where that second run, you almost have to concede it. Don't worry about it. If you get out of it without giving up that second run, so be it. But he's really got to focus on everything that's going on now. Dexter Fowler was a one-off. Now you got to try to get your ground balls, try to keep everything closer. Once that guy got to third with nobody out, got to focus on everything else.
Echeverria and Gordon set for 2 up the middle. A bunt, and it's foul. Boy, not a bad idea by Zobrist. He's 0 for 12 against Rodney in his career, and that one just rolled foul.
I'm a little surprised he tried to bunt that towards first base. Usually with man on first and second, you want the third baseman to field the ball. That's a little surprising from someone as such of a veteran as Zobrist.
Yeah, but Rojas very deep at first, and Zobrist shortens again with 2 strikes, and it's 1 and 2. And now Rojas is looking into the Marlins dugout, wanting to know, do they want him in front of the base, or do they want him back where he was? I mean, he was a good 20 feet behind the bag at first. And so the compromise is Rojas is just beyond the baseline. One, 2. Zobrist squaring again. One of the things that makes the Cubs so good is they're so unconventional. Here you've got the cleanup hitter in a 2-run game, squaring to bunt. He bunts and pulls back. And now Zobrist has worked the count to 3-2. And 41,000 are back on their feet. Do you think he's bunting 3 and 2?
No, I don't think so. But we've seen crazier things.
He squares and bunts. Rojas bare hands and gets the out at first.
Wow. Wow, that's something that you don't see every day, Rich. 3-2 men on first and second, but maybe because his success has been so poor against Fernando Rodney, they feel like that's the best chance to help the ball club. And if you resign to the fact that if you do it with conviction like he did it right there, he got the job done.
Of course, here now is Contreras, who had an RBI single to tie the game in the 6th.
I'd be very careful right here pitching to Contreras. This is one of those at-bats where Jason Hayward, to me, I'm going to attack him a whole lot more than I want to Contreras. Contreras has a lot more pop right now. I'm trying to pitch on the edges, maybe get him to swing himself out of an at-bat. I really don't want Contreras to be the difference in this game if I'm the Miami Marlins or Fernando Rodney.
4 for 8 in the series is Contreras. He's driven in 2, and he's walked 3 times. Bryant the runner at third, Rizzo's at second. And Rodney gets a strike. th pitch coming for Fernando Rodney. Nick Wickren has joined Dunn in Miami's bullpen. And that's the unique thing about Rodney. He'll float that changeup up to 85 and then whistle in 96.
Great time for a punch out right here. Yes.
And he got him. So Rodney with an important strikeout. Second out. And here is Hayward, who is 0 for 3, lined out his last time up.
Get a look at that. See, it looks like a circle change. See the pointer finger's almost completely off the ball. That rotation. He's not a whole lot of fun to face when he's going well. Velocity, change of pitch, change of pace.
Hayward now. And there's strike one at 97.
If I'm Rodney, I stay right in on Hayward's hands. He's proven that even when he pulls the ball, he can't get extended. He's pulled the ball foul. None of them were home run distance. And I think Fernando Rodney's velocity plays into a big key to it for him as well, being able to pitch inside. Jason Hayward is good when the ball's out over the plate or when the ball's down. Those are the things you got to try to stay away from.
A run has scored on a wild pitch. Cubs with runners second and third in a 2-run game. And Mathis sliding over, shuts the gate. Miguel Montero is on deck. And it's 3-1 to Jason Hayward. Cubs have already used Chris Coghlan as a pinch hitter.
Well, you got to think Matt Caesar's probably going to get that at bat.
There's a strike.
If Mike Dunn comes into the game, if they don't leave Rodney in after this batter.
And a break there.
Close.
A break there for Rodney. But now it's full with 2 outs. Bryant at third, Rizzo at second.
Hey, finish him off. We don't have to worry about what moves might be made right here. Slow Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
On the ground. Echeverria to first in time, and Rodney pitches into trouble and out of trouble. Cubs get a run, but Miami is up 2, headed to the 9th. Wednesday showdown from La Lechonera. Wrigley Field, 9th inning, 4-2. Marlins on top. High drama in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs rallying. They got just one. Fernando Rodney escaping, striking out Wilson Contreras, getting Jason Hayward to bounce out. Cubs deeper into their bullpen. And the first pitch from Justin Grimm. This is out to a Danny Echeverria. Echeverria, pitcher's spot, and then T. Gordon. End of the bat, that's going to float just foul into Miami's bullpen. And a new bat needed. And a strike to Echeverria. Grimm activated today. Jason Hamill put on the bereavement list, and so the Cubs were able to add an extra bullpen arm. This was a John Lackey start, and he held the Marlins to just a run through 6. But in the 7th, Jeff Mathis with a 2-run homer. Joe Smith, Carl Edwards Jr., and now Justin Grimm. And Echeverria takes out. To short, Baez. Whoa, Rizzo. Acrobatic maneuver at first. And impressively, he holds the ball and he holds the bag. Chris Johnson will take the at-bat here in the 9th inning. If you're just happening by, it's been a fun ball game, tight game. Well pitched by the starters. Lackey of the Cubs and Tom Kohler, 6 innings, a run, just 1 walk. Kohler continuing his nice little turnaround. 7 strikeouts, 103 pitches. Johnson swings and misses. Cal Barraclough handled the 7th. See Ramos in Miami's bullpen. Fernando Rodney survived the 8th. Marlins have gone long ball late. Mathis the 2-run homer against Lackey in the 7th. Christian Yelich a solo shot against Smith in the 8th. University of Georgia product, Justin Grimm. It's fouled back.
Good swing right there by Johnson. Got him a fastball up in his zone. He took a really nice pass at that.
Grimm was in the same trade as Carl Edwards Jr. coming over from Texas in the Matt Garza deal. 2-2. A swing, says Mike Winters. And so 2 outs, and here's D. Gordon.
I know it's disheartening, but I still would like to see Marlins batters at least go down to first and make the catcher throw the ball down there. You never know what can happen. You know, it's maybe that's an old school pet peeve of mine. Don't know how many times I've ever been called old school, but I don't know. I think you just have to, you concede nothing. That's what I was taught. Concede nothing. You make that team have to complete that transaction to get that out. You never know. The Phillies just recently won a game on a throw down the line that they didn't get, where the runner ran down the line on a strikeout. Ball ended up hitting the runner from third, scores.
I got news for you, Preston. That old school tag, that's not going away.
I feel like you're implying something right there, Rich.
No, I'm just.
I feel like you're trying to say something.
Because I'm long past that milestone in my life. I know it's a transition period. I'm just trying to soften the blow. Here's the 2-0. Gordon takes at the knees.
I feel like the next 2 words that come out of your mouth is just saying. Like, I feel like those are the next 2 words that are coming.
Gordon had an infield hit in the first, stole the base, a bunt single in the third. And he's punched out twice since then. Good fastball there from Grimm. Gordon up the middle, Baez to his left, safe.
Yeah,
and the speed is back at the top of Miami's lineup.
That's all D. Gordon, because if Baez can't make this throw, no shortstop is going to make this throw. He may have the strongest arm in the major leagues as far as infielders go, and if he can't make it, there's nobody going to throw D out on this ball.
5 infield hits for Miami, and Gordon has 3 of them.
Yeah, he's got 3 hits and hasn't touched outfield grass yet. It's a good day.
Now Prado, and you would think with 2 outs, Gordon has his eyes on second base. Montero still the catcher, and the Marlins have swiped 2 bags from him. I know we saw Hank Conger early in the year, and he's had trouble throwing guys out, but for me, it's hard to believe. I mean, I look at Montero's numbers and you think it's a misprint. He's caught 2 of 49 base stealers.
Yeah, some of that is the pitchers that you're catching, and some of that's obviously going to be on you. When the numbers are that skewed, it's not all on the pitchers.
Two and 0. You were a base stealer. You've watched Grimm throw 2 pitches to the plate.
Well, if I understand what I see now and I got my keys, I would have tried to go earlier, but sometimes you don't get a read, you don't get it. But this is the time to go. 2 outs. You could use that 3rd run if it ends up getting a single if you steal this bag. Once you find your keys, once you see it, and go. I would always look when I'm on the bench. I would try to get as close to first base, especially if we were on the first base side of the diamond. I would try to get as far down the dugout as I could to try to see or talk to the first base coach, talk to anybody on the team. Hey, what do you see from him? Does he have a key? But I would try to get at a good angle to see what I could see with my own eyes.
Two and 0 to Martin Prado. And he runs. Good jump. Montero's throw not nearly in time. And Gordon and Baez end up in a reclined position.
And to be honest with you, I'm seeing rust in D. Gordon's slides. That's a good jump right there. But look at the slides. When you don't play for a while, like his slides are a little messed up right now. I know he got caught by Baez's foot, but earlier in the game he slid outside and actually slid past the bag when he stole the first base.
I actually like the fact he went feet first there, because if he goes head first, that knee takes a shoulder or maybe a head. Watch the knee of Baez.
Yeah.
Caught the leg that was tucked under on the slide.
I slid head first my whole career, never got hurt sliding into a base. You know, but it's one of those things where when you know you got the bag that easy, yeah, you can just go ahead and, like, that's a bag where you run and you know you got that bag. So you go feet first. It's easier to pop up.
All right, now it's back to the Christian Yelich portion of the broadcast. Yelich has played 12 games in this ballpark. He's hit in all 12. He is a triple shy of the cycle here. RBI double, single, solo homer, and he's grounded out. In those 12 games, Yelich has 21 hits in 52 at-bats. 3 doubles, 4 homers. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we might have to.
I mean, in 12 games, too.
We might have to pretty much like pull off an introduction just to get him on the plane to leave here. Four homers, 7 RBIs.
In the dirt and away from Montero, it rolls. Everybody's up 90 feet. Gordon and Prado.
I mean, 2-run lead is nice, but that 3rd run would be huge if they can get that run across the plate somehow. Or give him a triple. Get that first ever cycle.
That would be first ever cycle, not only for Yelich, but for the Marlins franchise.
Yes. Had some guys come close. I came close a few times. I know Cliff Floyd did. Kevin Millard did. Mike Lowell, D. Lee. Never quite got it done. It's a tough triple park, though, unless you hit it right down the right field line if you're Yelich.
Or if Andre Dawson comes out of the ivy and trips an outfielder. 2-2. Yelich pulls it down that line. Nice play by Alan Turner. That's Ichiro's interpreter, also a bullpen catcher. That's multitasking, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
BYU product. And he got him. Grimm strikes out Yelich. Miami leaves 2. A.J. Ramos tries to shut the door in a 4-2 game. Baseball Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. I was on that boat, that very boat, yesterday. A lot of great architecture in downtown Chicago. 4-2, Marlins on top, bottom 9. And A.J. Ramos on the mound. You see Miguel Montero. He'll lead it off. You got Javi Baez. And then the pitcher spot for the Cubs. So it's 7-8-9 for Ramos. Rodney gave up a run in the 8th on 2 hits and a walk and a wild pitch. Montero to right, pulls it into that corner. Stanton over to get it. It gets to the ivy. And Montero gets to second. And the Cubs have some life here in the 9th.
Well, and their philosophy against the Marlins relievers has been the exact opposite of what they've done against Tom Kohler. They were very patient, taking a lot of pitches early with Tom Kohler. When the relievers came in, a lot of these guys are hacking first pitch, looking for something to jump on, and Montero does it right there and drills one into the ivy.
Ramos last pitched on Sunday in that wild bottom of the 9th walk-off win over the Cardinals. He ended up getting the win, pitching a scoreless 9th. It is Matt Caesar who is on deck for the Cubs. 4-2 Miami, bottom 9.
Well, you hear all the yelling and chirping and booing that's going on, but this is a breaking ball that gets away from Ramos. It's not a fastball, just a slider that he didn't quite get out in front of enough.
And that's a good breaking ball. Catches the plate. It's 2-1.
Same velocity. Most pitches were 79 miles per hour.
Baez 0 for 3. Ramos falling off towards the first base side. Well, you quickly lose the benefit of the bottom of the order when you put guys on base, because at the top of the order, Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo. Obviously, the Cubs would like to get those bats in play.
Yeah, well, Madden's going to empty his bench right here anyway. Those 8-9 hitters usually don't hit much in these situations.
Into left. Yelich has it. At the corners. And here comes Caesar. Nothing comes easy.
This is just mislocation. You see Mathis wants this ball down and away. Ball ends up in the top of the strike zone, almost in the third. And Caesar, he's up there hacking. He's another one of those guys that comes off the bench. He's looking for something right away to put the bat on. He's not trying to wait around for Ramos to get to that nasty changeup or that nasty slider. He's first pitch heater hunting.
So it's Caesar, who is atop the National League list in pinch hits. And a 343 clip with those 12 hits. He's driven in 5. He had a pinch hit last night. Two and 0.
Well, he's a right-handed hitter that hits right-handed pitching well as well. He's hitting 324 versus right-handed pitching. So that's why Madden feels comfortable sending him up there no matter who's on the mound. Righty, lefty, it doesn't matter.
So if you're sitting in a dugout and you're a potential hitter around the bend, what do you see from Ramos that you're keying in on?
Well, right now he's not throwing a slider for a strike. So I'm just sitting fastball. And anything I see that's spinning, I'm not swinging it. I'm sitting dead red fastball. If it's got a hump in it, I'm going to take it.
Montero doubled, Baez single. Ramos has not thrown a strike to Caesar. And a changeup misses in. And it feels like Ramos is really searching for any pitch he can command right now.
And sometimes that's the problem with a 4-pitch closer.
3-0. Fastball at 92.
But Ramos has done a good job of cycling through pitches when he can't find something that's working until he does get something that he can throw for a strike and that he can be consistent with.
Bags are loaded. And there's nobody out. And Juan Nieves, Miami's pitching coach, is on his way out. And now you get into the big lumber. About 72 hours ago, maybe less than that actually, the man who used to be the Marlins closer, the guy that A.J. Ramos replaced. Ramos claimed that job for the Marlins. Steve Cishek was here pitching for Seattle. And Cishek could not hold a lead in the 9th, a 2-run lead as well. Cubs would go on to win that game in extra innings. Cishek the next night would blow another save against Boston, and he's lost his closing job for the Mariners. And so here is Ramos with Fowler up, who is 1 for 4 and a star of this series. And he goes after a breaking ball. 0-1. Infield right now at double play depth. Montero, Baez, Caesar out on the bags. Ramos just misses.
Yeah, when you play against veteran teams, when you play against teams that are patient as a reliever, when you don't throw strikes, you create a lot of issues. Young teams may swing at those balls. Good teams, top-notch teams, they're going to let you pitch yourself right into trouble.
Well, now you get into the best of the best for the Cubs in selective at-bats. Fowler's on base is over 400. Bryant's is up at 380. Rizzo's is right at 400. And if anyone's left standing, Zobrist is at 385. That's a strike. A much-needed strike.
Well, you also have to give.
Wow, and a break as well.
Yeah, it is. The ball's a little off the plate. You also have to give these Cubs hitters credit for buying in and trusting in the philosophy of being able to take pitches and what Madden is trying to instill in his lineup.
2-2 coming to Fowler. Three and 2. Tying runs at second, winning runs at first. Nobody out. Bags loaded. Bottom 9, 3-2 coming. In the air to right, Stanton sees it, has it, runners tag, bobbles it, both runners advance. It's a one-run game. Goodness. Stan was fighting the sun, and as he came up, he lost the ball. Good heads up by Caesar at first.
Well, you might wonder, how does this happen? Well, on that play to right field, the cutoff man to home is the first baseman. So if no one rotates over there behind them, which is not really anybody's responsibility unless the second baseman goes there, but that's just a free play. And when you bobble that ball, he just kept going.
You know, once he bobbled it, Caesar didn't stop. Now Bryant. Middle infield's back. Corners are in. Ramos against Bryant. And a strike. Bryant went as he argues with Marty Foster. 0-1.
Well, that bobble in right field made this game a whole lot more interesting. As if it needed it.
Oh, and 2.
We'll say this. It does seem like once things get to the point where Ramos's back is up against the wall, that's really when he does his best pitching. I mean, you wish it didn't come to that some days, but he does have the ability to pitch out of these type of situations.
0-2 coming to Bryant. And the slider's out.
I think you described it before as it's like one of those boxers who doesn't really become good until he gets hit in the mouth one time.
And once he tastes his own blood. Chapman looms. 1-2. Off the plate. Bryant not chasing. You've got Rizzo on deck. Zobrist after that. Ramos often gets his strikes as a result of chasing. AJ ready, 2-2.
Well, I'd say he's got to stick with the changeup or go slider here. You got first base, so remember that's going to put you back in a situation where a ground ball can get you a double play. I do not like throwing a fastball right here at Chris Bryant.
Four hitters, 4 straight 3-ball counts. And Mathis will cut the tension on his way out to the mound.
I would try to throw that same slider that he got the check swing on, start it middle away, try to get it to end up off the plate. If he offers at it, fine, but if he does swing at it, he won't be able to do anything with it.
3-2. Little pop up, and it's going to find the seats.
That's it. That's the pitch right there.
Miami's lead down to a run. 1 out, bottom 9. Baez, the runner at third. Caesar is at second. Bryant back in the box. Ramos, another 3-2. and barks. But Ramos, an enormous strikeout. Wow.
And I'll tell you why I didn't like the changeup in that situation, because the changeup comes back to the bat of Bryant. Ramos' changeup fades back, but wow, he's got a break. That ball swept way outside.
Boy, that is a break. It was out. But it was the slider that you asked for. And now it's Anthony Rizzo.
When you got one of the top guys in baseball, you got a question. Do I pitch to him or do I walk him? Anthony Rizzo's in the tops in the league. I believe he's second in RBIs.
Well, obviously, Ramos doesn't have the best of command right now. And if you walk Rizzo, you've got Zobrist, who is as good as there is in a spot like this at making sure someone throws strikes, and that's exactly what the Marlins are going to do. And so it does set up a force at any base. It makes it easier to get that out. But of course, Rizzo with one swing can end the game. And a walk to Zobrist could only tie the game.
Right. And that's my point. I would rather see one swing from Zobrist than a swing from Rizzo at this point.
So just one time Zobrist has seen Ramos. Ramos struck him out. But in terms of walking it off, Zobrist is pretty good at it. Bases filled with Cubs. Ramos and Zobrist. Fastball misses away. Excuse me, changeup 85. Infield deep. Outfield straight up. Wow, that one darted in. Ramos again kind of falling off the mound, and he's gone to 2-0 against one of the most selective hitters in the National League.
Wow, look at that. 19 balls and 11 strikes.
Two-0. Pitches for Ramos. 3-0, bags loaded. 2 outs, bottom 9. And he throws a slider for a strike. And it's 3-1.
It's one of those things where when you see how he's been pitching, the last couple batters, he's actually had better command with the slider. You saw it with Bryant. He threw the ball more where he wanted to with the slider.
Does he throw it again? 3-1 coming. Lost him, and it's tied.
You know, and when you can't throw your fastball for a strike, it forces that situation. And that's why being able to throw a strike with your fastball is so key for any pitcher. You don't want to be forced to pitch with your secondary pitches.
Now Contreras in a 4-4 game. Strike. Second blown save of the year for A.J. Ramos. Oh, 1 to the screen, and it's over.
Look at the pitch here. You can see him. He's huffing and puffing. He's got to try to calm that heart rate down, and he just yanks it again. Unfortunately, that one cost you the ball game.
Matt Caesar scoring, and the Cubs rally. The run off Rodney in the 8th, and here in the 9th. 3 more against A.J. Ramos. And a long day at Wrigley ends in utter disappointment for Miami. The Cubs, Major League's best record, and they add to it. And the Marlins let a W slip away. Marlins Live is next.